Hi, I'm Damon Lowe. I'm the Senior Curator of Science and Technology at the Indiana State Museum and Historic Sites, and today I'm going to be talking about the 1910 Lambert Model 28 and the 1910 Haynes Model 19 and the Bowser gas pump. So I'd like to start with the 1910 Lambert Model 28 Toy tonneau 4-passenger automobile that we have in our collection. It's made by the Buckeye Manufacturing Company in Anderson, Indiana, and it was developed by John Lambert, who was a very prolific inventor who had over 600 patents to his name. So Mr. Lambert developed his first engine in 1887 and his first car in 1891 in Ohio City, Ohio. This particular car has a 105-inch wheelbase, so measured between the two tires, it's 105 inches long, and it weighs in at about 1,600 pounds. It's powered by a 35 horsepower Davis engine, and it cost $1,200 when it was brand new. One of its interesting features is it has a brass press-to-light acetylene powered headlight system right here, and that is a compressed acetylene gas-powered headlight tank. And then it's got oil side lamps here, so that's just regular an oil lamp like that you would use for oil in your house back in that time. One of the interesting features that it has on it, you can't really see it from here, but underneath it's got a unique friction drive transmission, which is very similar to the continuously variable transmission found in some current automobiles that you can buy today. So unfortunately, the Lambert cars and the Buckeye Manufacturing Company quit making automobiles in 1917 due to World War I and quit making automobile parts altogether in 1922. So, but this particular automobile came from the Lambert family itself, so it's one of the crown jewels in our transportation collection. So the next object that I'm going to talk about as I move over here is our 1910 Model 19 Haynes automobile, and this is a runabout 3-passenger automobile. So it's a little bit smaller passenger-wise than the Lambert, but this was made by the Haynes Automobile Company in Kokomo, Indiana, and it was developed by Elwood Haynes, and he was also an inventor who had some pretty significant inventions that you may have heard of, including a type of stainless steel, the tilt steering wheel, an early in-home thermostat, and stellite, which is a type of hardened alloy which he uses in his the valves of his engines, and also it's still used in modern spacecraft today. Well, Elwood developed his first car in 1894. And he claimed to be the inventor of the first automobile in North America, but as I just mentioned, Mr. Lambert beat him by 3 years, and there's still a lot of debate who actually invented the first car in North America. This particular car has a 110-inch wheelbase, and it's powered by a 36 horsepower engine with a Stromberg carburetor, which is a very popular carburetor of that era. This car was $2,000 when it was brand new, so it was a little bit higher end than the Lambert, which was a normal family car. And this was a more luxurious vehicle, and as being only a 3-seater, it was more of a sporty type car. This has a little bit different type of lighting system. It's still powered by acetylene, but it's a carbide type acetylene system. So it has carbide that water drips on that produces acetylene, as opposed to a compressed acetylene system that the Prestolite system is that the Lambert uses. This still has oil side lamps, just like the Lambert, which is a very common setup in this era of vehicles. This vehicle is a wicker body, which is unusual, and as I mentioned earlier, this is a luxury vehicle. Most vehicles don't have wicker, and this is an element because that suggests luxury, because wicker doesn't survive very well in the weather, so this would have to be garaged. But one of the more interesting things that this has is a mother-in-law seat, or a rumble seat. And this seat tucks down in here under this little flap, but then it pops up when you need an extra passenger. And as you can see, it even has a horn to alert the driver of any impending disasters that the rumble seat or mother-in-law passenger might see coming. But this just tucks down in there, but it's an extra way to get another person, and it's a very interesting feature to this vehicle. So unfortunately, Haynes also suffered some financial issues, and in 1924 they filed for bankruptcy, and in 1925 they closed for business for good. So the other object in this little vignette that I would like to discuss is this pump here in the middle. Sylvanus Freelove Bowser from Fort Wayne, Indiana, invented a kerosene pump in 1885, which is prior to the automobile. But he invented this because he originally designed it to get kerosene from barrels into containers so people could get kerosene for their lamps and their stoves from general stores. In the 1890s, he saw these automobiles that were starting to be invented and on the roads around him, and he decided that he could convert his pump from kerosene to gasoline so he could get gasoline to these automobiles. So he first added a hose to the pump and then later a nozzle so they could get the gasoline into the vehicles or into a storage container. And this particular pump dates from about 1914. And these are all some of the prime objects in our transportation collection. So it'd be great for you guys to come down to the museum and see these and the other things that we have in our great collection.